Family, the track we're about to interact with right now was brought to my attention via a donation from one of our subscribers. Now, if you want to recommend a song, the link to the PayPal is going to be in the description below because, of course, YouTube yanks 30% of super chats. Guys, I appreciate, as always, your open, curious attention. Back to the video. Okay, what are we talking about, baby? I'm not ready because it's Tool, but I have my coffee. Rock out, please. Please cook, sir. That noise sounds like the type of alarm that everyone should seek shelter. You know, it's like one of those consistent, almost like a bell ringing, like either come inside for dinner or seek shelter. You know, it's like an emergency kind of thing. Get to a safe location. The visuals on this are lit. Shout out to whoever did this video, this lyric video. Guys, what are you guys getting from the music? There's something very haunting and very alarming and very setting me on edge about that reverberating horn synthesizer, whatever you want to call it. But then there's also something that calms you about the guitar, the bloom, 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 bloom. And so they're able to capture at once something very unsettling while settling you with something else. Big Selah moment in the beginning. I wonder why. Guys, this one was highly recommended. Rosetta Stoned.
Excuse me, doctor, if you have a moment.
A moment? What's the question?
More of a situation. A gentleman in exam 3.
What's the problem?
That is the problem. We're not sure.
Do you have the chart?
Right here.
Not much here, is there?
No, doctor, no obvious physical trauma. Vitals are stable.
Name?
No, sir.
Someone drop him off? Maybe we can speak to them. Let's get some background on this file.
No ID. Nothing. He won't speak to me.
Okay, so this is a 14-minute long video, and as it unfolds, it's a curious and curious, kind of situation. You know, there's a nurse talking to the doctor about a patient she knows nothing about who has no obvious, traumas. The vitals are good. Vitals are normal. That's where we are so far. But the situation is beyond what can be spoken about, at least by the nurse.
Well, then let's say hello. Good morning, I'm Dr. Ross. How are you today? How are you today? Look, son, you're in a safe place. We want to help you in whatever way we can, but you need to talk to us. We can't help you otherwise. And what's happened? Tell me everything.
Alrighty then. Picture this if you will. Dancing to AMX, you'll need to empty out box and crispy creams and might even know poses of fire in 51. Contemplating the whole chosen people think we just enough flavor to still banana. Split the sky like woman open, never expect to see in a place like this. I regret it, put us on a diamond, something right on my Birkenstock, then you open. Holy, holy shit.
You know what I'm saying? A couple bars back, gotta let him cook again. Pardon me.
Picture this if you will. Dancing to AMX, you'll need to empty out box and crispy creams and might even know poses of fire in 51. Contemplating the whole chosen people think we just enough flavor to still banana. Split the sky like woman open, never expect to see in a place like this. I regret it, put us on a diamond, something right on my Birkenstock, then you open. Holy, holy shit.
Bro. So he's talking about a DMT trip and what he has experienced. Going back to Terence McKenna, I brought up Terence McKenna before. He's an ethnobotanist who made a very, very serious plea. One of the best arguments for the idea that psychedelics ought to be legal, that mind-altering substances go all the way back to the sages, that mind-altering substances are exactly what some human beings need in order to solve their problems, because when your mind is altered, you think outside the box by definition, and sometimes thinking outside the box is exactly what you need to overcome your problem. Not recommending psychedelics to anyone, but everything that he just said, as little sense as it makes, oh my gosh, it is super salient to him. It's an onto-normative state. Onto from ontology, meaning being, and normative meaning action guiding. So psychedelics can reasonably, and I'm somebody who's I've consumed. I've gone on these journeys, right? The onto-normative state means that this is a state that you get to when you're high on psychedelics, and it seems like the way things actually are, such that when you come back down, you feel like, oh yeah, this is less real, right? Dreams, for instance, are not onto-normative states, because when you wake up from a dream, you're like, yeah, that dream was fake and I'm back to reality. But with this kind of stuff, with DMT, I've never done DMT before. I don't necessarily plan to. But yeah, it's been described as very onto-normative. You think that what you're seeing is more real than the non-high state, and so he's stuck. Guys, I have to hear it again. What are you talking about? This. What are you talking about? I don't need to go back a third time. Yes, I do. Picture this if you will. Maynard, I'm with you, buddy.
Alrighty then. Picture this if you will.
Talk about it, sir. Please cook, sir.
Dancing to AMX, you'll need to empty out box and crispy creams and might even know poses of fire in 51. Contemplating the whole chosen people think we just enough flavor to still banana. Split the sky like woman open, never expect to see in a place like this. I regret it, put us on a diamond, something right on my Birkenstock, then you open. Holy, holy shit.
Guys, do you notice? I mean, he's mentioning the Jackie Chan, the breath smelling like vanilla something or other. Everything, when you're on a high dose psychedelic substance, everything is super salient. We talk on this channel about the salience landscape theory. Your landscape of salience is what you consider important in any given room. Let's say you come home from a hard day's work. What's salient might be the couch and the television and maybe a beer, right? If you're a bad parent, then there are things that are more salient than your children, even though your children need support, right? But when you are on high dose psychedelics, everything is super salient. And so you're like, it's a perfect depiction of what it's like to be in a hyper salience state, where it's like I can notice the flavor of the breath on this creature, what he looks like, the exact thing that he's doing, right? And of course, to us who are used to hearing this pattern and routine of saliences. So if someone says, how was your day? You're going to hear a routine set of salient things. I went to work, I picked my daughter up from school, I took her to soccer practice, right? But to someone who's high on psychedelics, everything is salient. It's like, I had a gnat in my coffee, and the gnat was swimming around the coffee, and I thought that the way he was swimming, he was like spelling out words, and I interpreted the words and what the word meant. You'd be like, what are you talking about? I know I shouldn't rewind it again. I know. You don't have to say it. Don't leave it in the comments. I know that. I'm not going to rewind it all the way again. I am going to do a second watch for those who want to see it. I'm just going to go back one bar or two, let them cook. My sweaty L. Ron Hubbard upper lip. Listen, Maynard is a battle rapper. I don't care he's not a rapper, but he's the first ever battle rock star, right? He wants smoke and he doesn't care, right? He will say names. A lot of rappers, when they diss, they won't even say names. Maynard does not care, buddy. Please continue to cook. And there's Danny just losing his mind, of course. So that part sounded to me, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments now, it sounded to me as if this was his first break from, it's like, this is what happens, when you're climbing, you're on the uphill of the climb, of the high, it's like getting high, it's like there's this come up. And you have come up anxiety, whereas, it seems like the first verse was just kind of like that come up anxiety. I'm starting to experience things differently. And the reality is augmented, right? But then you kind of mellow out a little bit. You kind of hit that, you kind of hit a strain where you're able to take a deep breath and say, okay, this is just the drug, and this is just the effect of the drug. And it sounded like from those couple of bars that's where he hit. He's like, this is the chemistry who's making me see E.T., right? I may be wrong about that. Got me seeing. Right, so he tries to rationalize. He has like a little bit of Selah space.
And after calming me down with some orange slices and some needle spooning, he revealed to me his singular purpose. He said, you are the chosen one, the one who deliver the message. A message of hope to those who choose to hear it, and a
Guys, when he says, after calming me down with some orange slices and some fetal spooning, I'm convinced that he actually went through this, right? This level of detail is similar to, if you've seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And I'm not talking about the movie, I'm talking about the book. And for some reason, the author of the book is slipping my mind right now. Leave it in the comments if you know. But I mean, the movie did a phenomenal job representing the book in this instance, and this is a very difficult book to represent in film, but they actually did it. Johnny Depp was in that movie, and this what Maynard is saying on this track reads just like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. If you've seen that movie, especially if you've read the book, right, where it's like this, and it's very difficult to write like this if you haven't actually gone through it. That's all I mean. He's the chosen one. when he says you'd better listen, right? Because knowing Maynard's attitude, as well as I do, which isn't, phenomenal. I would love to have a conversation with Maynard. I would love it. When he says you'd better listen, it seems to me that this is kind of a jab at the you better listen people, at the dogmatic religious groups who say, because of this vision I had, or because, I am in touch with God in the way that you aren't, listen to my proclamations and judgments, right? Guys, this is the one I want to see Danny do. This is the one I really want to see Danny do the drums on. This is so real, right? That's what I mean about the onto-normative state. When you say this is so real, you're saying this seems more real than ordinary life. The seeming real, right? Isn't it funny that doesn't even compute to people who aren't having the experience? Like, what do you mean it seems real? How does something seem more real than reality, right? And it's very difficult to explain. It's almost ineffable to people who haven't experienced it. I like that he said I have to write it down, though, because I've been in those states where it's like, man, I'm having so many epiphanies. Well, I mean, epiphanies are more rare, I think, than insights. But I'm having so many insights that it's like, man, they're going by so fast. I want to write them down, right? That's another clue that Maynard actually went through the experience when he says, this shit never happens to me. It's like, I'm a skeptic. I'm someone who doesn't buy into all this stuff. And so the fact that this is all happening to me is something wild, right? I mean, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if Maynard has actually talked about having these experiences or if he's just, elite with the pen. We already know he is. Guys, I'm going to have to do a second listen. But he says, I don't want to be all alone, right? How isolating does it feel to be someone who feels in touch with a reality that no one else can see? This is the reason that it's inappropriate almost to recommend that people mess around with these psychedelic substances, because it can be very isolating, regardless of whether or not, there is some normativity in that state, whether it is, because there are people who've told me honestly that, look, there are networks in the brain that are dedicated to showing us the illusion of time and space, right? That those things are illusions. The default mode network and the task-centric network, those things shut down on high-dose psychedelics. And so what you're seeing is more real. That's not me. That's the people who I've had conversations with, right? Yeah, it can be very, very isolating, and you could feel very lonely afterwards because of the things that are running through your mind that everyone else just thinks you're crazy for thinking. This song is so freaking dope. Like, I wish I could just get into his mind and figure out what was going through it when he wrote it. Yo, are you hearing those drums? And he's been going now with this track for, I mean, does Danny do this in like sections? Yeah, please cook. Yeah, let him cook, please.
Down my bed, being cold, eyes red, I'm my head, my life, my death, can't remember, they said, goddamn, shit the bed.
Guys, he's suggesting, I think, that the situation and circumstance was so awesome. And by awesome, I mean that literally. Like it was so awe-inspiring. It's like he was just shocked into stillness and had to just watch this display. And it was so awesome that his mind couldn't contain the message he was supposed to give the rest of us. Right? It's like they told him, like, you know, you're the hero, you're the chosen one, and you know, make sure to relate everything that you saw and experienced, you know, to everyone. And it's just hilarious that he finds himself incompetent to deliver that message, and it's even more hilarious that he's right about it. Bro, Tool is always cooking, no breaks. I hear like a bongo kind of thing. Yeah, cook, baby. Continue to cook, please. It's interesting because this part, which I assume is the ending, is kind of like the beginning. Yeah, we're definitely going back. Right. See, I don't. There's something about those lines that I don't necessarily trust. And hear me out. When he says, such a heavy burden to bear, to have all of this truth to bring to the world, I feel like Maynard is saying, like, he's pointing the finger at the L. Ron Hubbards, at the people who say, oh, so, how heavy the burden is, I'm just, the burden for me is so heavy. Right? Yeah, I know that it seems like you have the burden because you have to give me your money and you have to, do everything that I tell you to do and kind of be at my beck and call. But I mean, really, I'm the one who's burdened because I have this truth. I have to put this divine insight through this narrow channel of the human mind. I have to give you this information. The real burden is on me. It reminds me of Animal Farm. Go into our Animal Farm book club. We finished Animal Farm, so look up Mr. Biscuit Speaks Animal Farm. In that book, we went through the entire book. The pigs who become the tyrants and the totalitarian dictators, right? They would always say, it was like, oh, we have this burden. We have this burden to take care of all of you sheep, right? And, oh man, heavy is the crown. Heavy's the head who wears the crown. It's very difficult for us. It's not that we want to hoard all the resources. We just need it because, we're thinking so hard. The burden is really on us. I feel like Maynard is speaking from that spirit right here. I forgot my pen is goated. I forgot my pen is like the incompetency, right? I am completely incompetent to do this. There is, and this might be, a part of Maynard's hesitancy to embrace religion is that how is any human being competent to relay a divine message to the human mind, right? If we had a one-to-one correspondence with reality, we would dissolve into a sea of entropy.
Drop down my bed, feet cold, eyes red. I'm out, my head, my life, my dead. Sun-kissed, Sudafed, gyroscopes, infrared. Won't help, brain dead. Can't remember what they said. Goddamn, shit the bed.
There's like 20 dope riffs in this song. Guys, that's defining. That song defines Tool for me. That song has all the ingredients. It completely encapsulates what Tool means to me. Don't know and won't know. I'll let you know why I agree and disagree with that. We don't know and won't know, because that's kind of the challenge at the end. He's like, which I kind of began to assume from the middle of the song to the end. It's like, Nobody really knows what the gods or the aliens or the intelligence, there are no leaders here to guide us, with any insight to the future that we couldn't find ourselves. I do believe that we don't know and won't know if the tool we're using to know is our minds. But I also agree with the gurus who suggest that the mind is a tool which needs to be put away when you're done using it. So if you're not using the mind, you come to a superior kind of knowledge, a participatory knowing through being as opposed to having, right? Having more information. If we're trying to understand God with our minds, yeah, I completely agree with Maynard. We don't know and we won't know. Right? There's no book on it. I'm gonna watch that one again. I have to watch that one again. Will you be down for a second watch?